What's up everyone, Kevin here. Welcome to the Snowboard Pro Camp Friday live chat. I'm just gonna fix the camera here. Here we go. Stoked to have everyone on here for hopping on. I'm gonna go live every Friday at this time at 3 p.m. I put out a poll on the members section and everyone voted that Friday was the best time to do it. And this was a live chat we used to do a few years ago every Friday. So Friday live chats are back and stoked to talk to you guys. I think one of the topics I want to discuss with you guys is the price of lift tickets, the price of gear, what's making everything so expensive, and how to snowboard for less money. I feel like at the moment in the economy in the world, everything is inflation and everything is making stuff so expensive. So how to do snowboarding sort of on a budget. So I've been trying to do that this season, and I'm going to try to do it even more going forward. So that's the topic, but we'll answer all your guys' questions. If you guys have any questions about snowboarding at all, hit me up in the chat. And yeah, at the end of this chat, I'm actually going to head over to the members only area of YouTube and do a exclusive members live chat as well. So we're gonna be on here with you guys. If you guys wanna become a part of the members only live chat, just hit that join button, and it's an awesome way to support the channel, and then you get awesome perks as well. So join the members area and you'll have access to that live chat at the end. So yeah, let's see who's on here. Really stoked to see you guys. If you guys haven't yet, also subscribe and hit the bell beside the subscribe, and then every time I go live you'll get a notification. So we got 31 people hopped on already, 9 likes. Thank you guys so much for all the likes, for the support. And we got Bad Riders saying welcome to Team SPC. Awesome, man. That is Bad Riders on there. Thanks for all your support, Adam. We got L Stacker. All right, yeah, L Stacker's on here saying cannonball the like button. Actually met up with L Stacker and the Australian crew in Lake Tahoe, and we got to ride like one of the deepest days of the season. We went to, actually this kind of ties in with the whole like expensive lift ticket idea too, because we went to Palisades on Lake Tahoe, and the guys came at like perfect time. We had like this crazy like 50+ centimeter deep pow day, and the guys had the Epic Pass, but Palisades is on the Icon Pass, so they had to buy a day ticket, and I think the day ticket was like $270 US, and I mean the guys were down to like get the lift ticket for the day, and I think it was worth it. But it was really funny because they were actually trying to tell El Stacker and the crew like, oh, maybe don't get a lift ticket today because not the whole mountain is going to open. And they bought it anyways. And then in the video, if you guys saw the video, at the end of the first run, El Stacker is like killing himself laughing because he's like just had the most incredible laugh. And the whole time, before, they're actually trying to give him his money back for the lift ticket. And I thought that was hilarious. They were actually trying to say, oh no, save your $270 for another day. But it turned out to be like the best day of riding. But in my opinion, $270 US is an insane amount of money for lift tickets. And I mean, I think there's some ways that you can definitely get that price down. It's a little bit tricky, but I mean, yeah, maybe we can discuss that. If you guys have any ideas too on bringing lift ticket prices down, we can discuss that. All right, who else is we got? A not so good snowboarder says just never grow up and be a kid so your parents pay for everything. Oh yeah, that's one way to do it. Just get your parents to pay for it. Adam says inflation here in Australia is out of control. I feel the chuck coming back from the US. Yeah, man, it's actually not too bad, surprisingly, in Canada. I mean, I was in the US for almost 6 months, and it was definitely expensive. Coming back to Canada, I'm sure if I was, it's just compared to the US, it doesn't seem as bad in Canada, but it's bad here as well. Baden says, will you collab with TJ and David Jones this season? Well, I did get to ride with David Jones for like, I think it was like 10 days in Lake Tahoe. So there's a bunch of videos with David. And yeah, hopefully we can link up with TJ too. I know he's in Colorado, and maybe we can plan a trip. We still have a couple months left of like kind of spring riding. So hopefully we can make that happen. I'm sure I'll see him this summer at Mount Hood. So that's like hopefully some summer days with TJ. Chris says, hi, sadly my main slope shut down. Sadly, any suggestions? If you're wondering, it's Snow Factor in Scotland. Man, any suggestions? I would say, like, you guys in Europe, you guys have really good cheap flights to the Alps. So maybe hop on a cheap flight and get out to, I don't know, France or somewhere where it's not that expensive, and try to go there. However, I know the season in Europe hasn't been all that good, but maybe I think they recently got some new snow. So, I mean, I would just look into that. Hop on one of those like $50 flights to the Alps and try to make the most of the last couple months. And bad riders. So yeah, if you join the members area, you also get these little like emoticons. So Bad Riders has been a member for 2 months, and he's moved on to a different emoticon. The first emoticon is actually, it's a TJ doing a pond skim, and the second one is myself, and it's on a deep powder day in Austria, in Hintertux. So every month you're a member, you also get a new emoticon. So I think that's pretty cool. I think we're gonna maybe add some new emoticons as well, so that the last one is like the SPC logo. So that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if you guys noticed as well, but there's an American US, a US snowboard website called The House that apparently just closed its door too. And that was pretty surprising because they produce a ton of YouTube videos about snowboard gear. So like the last 10 plus years, I've always like gone to the House's YouTube channel to check out their gear reviews and stuff. And yeah, they recently closed doors. So that was pretty sad to see as well. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I feel like it's like kind of tough times for like a lot of things, for like people who like, I mean, across everywhere. So if your margins are tight and you get into debt, I'm sure it's like a tough time to be a business owner. Yeah, YR Guitar says, how are people supposed to ski as a family anymore? Family of 4 is $1,000 plus a day. Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely like too much money. I think like one thing you can definitely do is just like choose ski resorts that where their day ticket is less money. For example, just across the border. So right now I'm in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and right across the border is Mount Baker. And Mount Baker, a day ticket, I believe, is around $85 US. So that's pretty reasonable compared to that $280 day ticket at Palisades. And to be honest, in terms of the mountain, the vibe, the facilities, Palisades is maybe a bit bigger, but Baker, you can have just as good of a day at Mount Baker for that $85. So I feel like in most areas you have those smaller resorts that maybe aren't on the Icon Pass or Epic, that maybe don't have like 20 or 25 lifts and like a massive expanse of terrain, but you can still find smaller resorts that you can still have like that great day of skiing or snowboarding for like a third the price. Another place that I recently went to was with a group of friends from Ontario, and we went to this place called Kimberley Resort in BC, Canada. And I think a day ticket there was like $120 Canadian. So when you convert that to US, it's like less than $100 a day American. I feel like that is still pushing it. I can remember when I first started snowboarding at Whistler, a day ticket, I think it was $85 Canadian for a day ticket at Whistler. and now it's like 180, and I'm sure maybe it's even more than that now. Maybe it's over 200, but I think like less than $100 is kind of the more reasonable. Maybe you guys tell me what's like the most you would pay for a day of skiing. For me, it's probably, I have actually paid 200 before. It was at Homewood Resort in Lake Tahoe. It was over the holidays, so I think that's why it was so expensive. But it was $200 for just one day on like a small resort. So I feel like I think that's the most I've ever paid. Scott B says every place is super expensive. Only thing to do is get a family season pass at some place that is small-ish. Yeah, I mean that's another way to do it too. Is if you're gonna ride at that local mountain that's small, get their season pass, and especially if you plan to go like 10 plus days. Let's say the pass is like $800. If you're gonna go 10 days, then it's gonna work out to less than $100 a day. A snowboarder says at Dodge Ridge, California, a kid's lift ticket is $39 and adult is $99. It's small, but a great place for families. Awesome, man. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. It's the way to go is hit up those smaller places. So Bad Riders sharing all the emoticons there. Thanks, man. You got the taco. There's a potato one in honor of El Stacker. The taco, Jose Bautista used to always call out Taco Fund. I got the iconic Big Bird outfit in one of the emoticons there, and it looks like, the last one is the SPC logo. So yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, hit that join button, and also going to do a members only live stream after this one. So I'll see you guys over there. Yeah, Michelle says, no, I love the house. That's crazy. It's crazy. They had everything. I know. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty sad. Hopefully like some of these things can come back in a different way, but yeah, times are tough. I think, money is tight at the moment. Day Job Shredder says, I'm considering big snow for some indoor shredding. Indoor shredding goodness in the summer. Yeah, some indoor stuff in the summer is definitely the way to go. Speaking of summer too, I'm collaborating with the High Cascade Snowboard Camp. So if you guys want to go to like summer camp at Mount Hood in Oregon, there's a link in the description, and I'm going to be kind of like a guest of the camp for session 1 and 2. And if you use the promo code SPC 2023, it unlocks like a bunch of perks. So coaching with me, chance to be in a video, all those kinds of things. So if you're thinking of going snowboarding this summer and you want to do the camp, there's a link below, and make sure to use that promo code. Nisolia says, how are the conditions at Mount Hood during the summer? They're pretty awesome. It's surprisingly good at Mount Hood. So the things that I love about it is, so there's usually a ton of snow, not just in the park area, but also for just doing runs, which is pretty unique. There's not a lot of places where, in the summertime at least, where you have a park opened and you can also just go off and like do laps on runs. So that's really amazing. They've got the tow rope in the park, so you can get quick laps. They've got a few chairlifts, so if you want to ride down to a chairlift, it's easy to get back up. The area where you snowboard too is like pretty like open, so you have like this like kind of like open field with a massive expansive view over Oregon, which is incredible. And typically it's a lot of sunny days up there, so you're putting sunscreen on 4 or 5 times while you're up there, drinking lots of water, just wearing like very light clothes because it's pretty warm. But if you dress properly, it's just really comfortable too. And it's like, slushy snow, but not so slushy that it's just like, all sloppy and kind of, unrideable. It's kind of like soft, slushy snow that's pretty manageable. And it's like an awesome place to like dial in tricks. So in terms of the conditions, the weather, everything like that, it's awesome. I spent like 2 months, pretty much from May until the end of July snowboarding at Mount Hood, and it was like it was incredible. So yeah, highly recommend it. You can join the High Cascade Camp. I'll be there session 1 and 2, and yeah, awesome way to do it. YR Guitar 1 says, I've been riding the same board for 10 years. It still works great, but I don't have a lot of experience with other boards. You think it's worth the upgrade? Maybe new bindings instead. Oh, interesting. I would say, yeah, same bindings for 10 years as well. I mean, it's tough. I think like if the board is still in good condition and you like it, then maybe you can just stick with it. And especially if it's the right size and all that, I would say maybe the bindings, it kind of depends. If your bindings are in rough shape, maybe you can replace those instead. Or if your boots are getting don't have the best fit anymore, maybe replace your boots. But I mean, for a 10-year board, you'll probably notice the difference of getting a fresh snowboard. There'll probably be a lot more pop in it. It depends on what you're doing too. If you're riding POW, you can kind of get a more POW leaning board, which is really great. Or if you're riding in the park, I think some of the new park boards are probably much lighter, much more poppy. And you can also get that combination of camber and rocker. So a lot of the new park boards, they're not like full camber all the way to the contact points, like all the way out to the tips. They have like more early rise reverse camber, making them more forgiving. So things like that, you might really like it, or you might be like set on the board that you have been riding for the last 10 years and really comfortable with that. And so I don't know, maybe a new board you won't like so much. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd have to like take a look at your gear, but man, if you can like upgrade certain pieces, like one piece at a time, that could be a good idea too. I know like right now there's a lot of deals on like this past year's stuff, like 30, 40, 50% off snowboard gear. So yeah, if you're looking to upgrade, now is definitely a good time. Wilderness in Wilderness says, just ordered a 2023 Capita Mercury coming from Warpig. Do you think there will be a big difference? Yeah, you're gonna feel a difference. So I actually bought the Mercury a year ago, and it was like so aggressive that I actually ended up giving it away. I thought that you might like this style of board, but for me, the Captain Mercury, it's like totally full positive camber, like way out to the contact points. So it's a pretty aggressive board, and it's a fairly like stiff board too. So for me, it was like just a bit too aggressive, too stiff. And so the Warpig is a much like kind of more mid-flex board. It's got some reverse camber and towards the tips there. It's not fully like positive cambered out. So I don't know, maybe you'll like it, but for me it was like too aggressive. It's definitely going to feel a lot different than the Warpig. Caught Sauce Fats says, how much snow would you think is enough to be able for a proper POW day? I live in Greece, and here anything above 10 inches of fresh snow is considered quite good. 20 inches of fresh snow is that's like a POW day. That's like, what is that, 30 centimeters or 25 to 30 centimeters? So yeah, that's a proper fresh POW day for sure. I feel like a proper POW day is when you're riding and you're doing turns and you're not like hitting the bottom with your board. As long as you're staying in that fresh stuff, maybe like in certain areas you can still hit the bottoms in places and it's still a proper POW day. But I mean, in terms of just a day on the snow, if it's like that deep, I think that's a proper POW day. All right. Chris says, would you recommend the Snowboard Addiction Jib Board? I would, yeah. It's a super fun product. You can really practice your off-season tricks and board slides and all that kind of stuff with it. It is a bit expensive, so if like the price is an issue, you can definitely like build your own version too with like a skate deck and some tape and like your shoes and a pop bottle. So I got a few DIY videos on the channel about building your own, but if you got the dough for it, the Snowboard Addiction jib board is like, yeah, it's super fun and a really good way to practice all your jib tricks. Bad Rider says, I did that upgrade last season. Best upgrade I've ever done. Mercury pushed my progression and encouraged me to work on my technique. Oh, wow. Love my Mercury and a worthy successor to the Warpig. Okay, Adam, thanks for the feedback, man. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad that it worked out for you. YR Guitar says, I like your thorough review of the step-ons. Would you try the Clue bindings? Have I heard of those? I have heard of Clue. I guess with Jonathan Buckhouse, he rides Clue bindings. So anytime I turn on a Buckhouse video, I always I always see something about Clues. So yeah, I'd be down to try them at some point. They look interesting for sure. Yeah, I'd like to see how it feels to keep that whole like to have your like ankle strap with the high back all kind of on your boot at all times. I'd be interested to see how that feels and how easy it is to like get in and out of your board. I do like how the release for the high back is actually pretty up on the like higher up on your high back, so it does kind of fix that problem of having to reach way down to unstrap. So that's kind of a cool feature of them for sure. Firing Frosty says, have you ridden a public snowboard? I've never ridden one, but my filmer Yannick has the public Disorder, and I think he really likes it. A really fun park board. Tommy says, what do you think about the Sidus Thermic Ultra Heated Gloves at $425 USD? Thinking about getting them for cold Japao days at -30. I mean, I think it's probably overkill. That's a lot of money for gloves. I think the better bet is to just get some like Gore-Tex mitts. The best and warmest mitts I've ever had, I think, are the really warm mitts are these like 686 Gore-Tex mitts. I think they're about $130, $130 like Canadian or US, I can't remember. But yeah, for almost a third of the price, and they kept my hands like toasty warm and dry. So I think that's like a key too, is not just warmth, but also dryness. So the Sidus Thermic Ultra, I don't know like how dry they're gonna keep your hands, but that's something to consider too. But yeah, I would just go for a pair of mitts instead, some Gore-Tex mitts. Dress on the Bass 7 says, love the videos on whitewater. It was great timing as I'm actually headed to there and Baldface this weekend. Oh, amazing. Any recommendations or tips for the mountain or area? I mean, for the mountain, I would say just like do some exploring. There's like so many cool tree runs up there. We did do like that hike out of Trash Traverse. And so I would bring your bring your Avi stuff just in case. And yeah, just ride with some friends and kind of like know where you're going. But yeah, lots of steep trees. I would have your board, like get your, like if you have a more free ride leaning board, I would definitely ride that there. And one thing I wish I didn't ride the like 2-seater chair. I think they have a 2-seater chair over there. I never rode that, so I wish I had ridden all the chairs. But yeah, it's a really cool place, lots to explore, tons of tree runs, and yeah, I mean, check out the taco tin, get some tacos from the taco shop there. And yeah, it's just a really awesome place. Just do lots of exploring. Nelson is a really cool town. It's got lots of cool little places to eat and stuff like that. I haven't been to a ton of places in Nelson, but just like walking the streets of downtown Nelson is a fun fun thing to do. Lots of like interesting people and shops to check out. We went into a few snowboard shops and yeah, just explore the town, take some photos. The waterfront is really awesome too, like right down at the river. So yeah, go check out the waterfront. But man, you're gonna be having an awesome time at Baldface. That's sweet, man. I'm super jealous. Yeah, have a good time, man, and yeah, let us know. Let us know maybe next week on the live chat how it all goes. All right. Someone says, "Yo, what up, dude? First live. Stoked to see you live. What board is worthy for park for 2024?" Man, I really like this one. K2 After Black, super fun park board. Yeah, last year I had the Nidecker Sensor Plus. That one was super fun. And man, I think next year I'm gonna try to really dial in like an inexpensive park board. If you guys have any recommendations for like a very inexpensive park board, but yeah, I kind of want to see if I go for say a park snowboard that is like under 500 US dollars or even under maybe even under 450, kind of like, I mean, there's not too many boards that cheap or around the $400 mark, and making sure to get like the size and everything that's right for me. But yeah, I'm going to try to go for an inexpensive park board for next year. So maybe look at some of those. And I mean, now's a good time to shop too, because a lot of stuff is on sale. But I mean, yeah, so there's a couple good ones for you. Day Job Shredder says, been on Clue bindings the whole season. They are very comfy once you dial in the straps. Stepping in and out is a breeze. Awesome, man. Yeah, that's good to know. Bad Rider says, am I the only one fixated on the amazing print on the wall behind Kevin? Yeah, I mean, so we like just moved into a new place in Vancouver, and this actually just came with the place. So yeah, this is pretty wild. It's some cool street style art. Unwise Monkey says, just wanted to say I am new to snowboarding and going on my first trip at the end of the month. I must have watched most of your beginner videos before my first lesson, and they really helped. Thank you, bro. Amazing. Yeah, stoked that they helped you out, and yeah, hope your progression is going well. What yeah, how are your turns doing? What step are you on? Roy Akron says, I'm a noob and I wonder if I should get a step on as first binding or just for classic. I mean, in my opinion, I think like just the classic is a good way to start. It's less expensive, more options, and I mean, I would say try out the classics first, and then if you are thinking you would benefit from the step-ons later, then I would go maybe your next pair after that for step-ons. But I think step-ons as your first setup, it's like a lot of money, it's a big commitment, and not a ton of options. So it's a bit more of a gamble. Lucas is watching from Spain. Awesome, Lucas. And yeah, we got 49 people watching, 25 likes. If you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. Also, we'll be going live again next Friday. So if you guys want to get notified, hit the bell beside the subscribe button to get notified every time we go live. We got Marcin watching from Poland. Awesome. Lucas says, how much does it cost in Whistler? So I believe a Whistler day ticket is $180 Canadian. I went there a year ago. I didn't have the Epic Pass. I just bought like a day ticket and it was that much, but it may have gone up since then. So I'm not sure exactly how much it still is. Wilderness says, how do you get good about learning rails solo when you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of all the park rats. Got jumps down, never learned rails. I mean, yeah, you just have to like not worry about what other people are thinking. Maybe take your jibbing to like something smaller and easier, and somewhere where you can get some tricks going and feel comfortable, and then slowly build yourself up to rails. But I mean, it's all about feeling it. So if you're not feeling it, then don't hit it. But if you're up there riding, and like even if there's a bunch of park rats and they're throwing down, just if you're feeling it, then that's the time to start going for it. But I mean, that's the thing with snowboarding, is you just can't care what other people think, because you're probably gonna fall at some point. And yeah, just remember that everyone was at that stage at some point. Everyone's been a beginner. Everyone's been struggling on rails. Even like the best riders, they've all struggled at some point. And everyone's like kind of still trying to learn and struggle. And just remember too, most people are just thinking about themselves and what they're focused on, and they don't really care about what other people are doing. If anything, like when I see somebody trying something, it's kind of like the way that I think about it is like, oh, cool, like that person's going for it. So I feel like that's what most people think. If they see you try a rail and you like fall off or eat it or anything like that, then people are like, oh, that's awesome, that dude's going for it. Bad Rider says, oh, what you can do is hit up the park rats for some tips. Most of the guys in the park I've spoken to are pretty chill. That's true too. You can like ask them like, hey, like, how does this feel? I've never hit this before. Yeah, just tell them. Let's say, I'm new at rails, got any advice, things like that. And most people are pretty cool. We got a super chat from Day Job Shredder. Amazing. Thanks so much for the support, man. He says, appreciate you and all the creators out there. It's that hype that has got me from a beginner to diamonds and in the park this year. That's awesome, man. Stoked that, yeah, the progression, you've done a ton of progression, and yeah, appreciate it, man. Stoked that, yeah, for the super chat. And yeah, all the creators out there too, like everyone is making such quality content. I feel like the level of snowboard YouTube has definitely gone up over the last few years. I mean, when we started, like a lot of us, or myself, I really had no idea what I was doing here on YouTube. So I was just trying my best to make videos. And yeah, I think everyone's kind of stepping up and putting out really good videos. And yeah, that's awesome to hear. Thanks for the support. Bad Riders, when are we going to get a black diamond tip, Kev? I think it's time to revisit and update those tips. Okay, yeah, sweet, Adam. We'll get some tips on black diamond videos. What did you think of the free ride tip video? I thought that one, I had a really fun time making that. It was like, I think, yeah, first time really doing the like live coaching mic'd up through some pretty difficult free ride terrain. It's super fun. But yeah, we'll have to do it on some steep black diamonds as well. I do have that steep video. I don't know if you saw that one, Adam, but there's a steep video I put out in like January with some black diamond. But yeah, I could just do like the pure black diamond video too. Oh yeah, okay, you did see it. Okay, thanks, man. All right, just a reminder too, so after this live chat, gonna head over to the members only area and continue talking with you guys, answering questions. And I think I might actually talk about the 5 most expensive lift tickets I've ever bought. And also like, I guess, yeah, a lot of the places for me now that are like so expensive, I'm probably not going to go back to. So there's like a few places that are just too expensive. And then maybe too, talk about some of the places that are really affordable and that are just as good as some of the expensive ones. Firing Frosty wants to know, what's the most expensive piece of gear you've bought? I think the most expensive piece of gear I bought was my split board. So I got the Jones Solution split board. I think it was like $1,200 or $1,300 Canadian. So I think that was like the most expensive thing I ever bought. Yeah, for sure. Split board, Jones split board. Wilderness and Wilderness. Could you name 3 boards you take over the Mercury regarding pop, jumps, and overall carving? Yeah, I mean, 2 other ones by Capita. I think I like the Capita Outsiders more. It's like less aggressive, and I think like a little less stiff, or maybe the same stiffness, but just a less aggressive camber profile. I don't think it's like that full positive camber, and still a lot of pop, and a bit more true twin. I think I don't think the Mercury is a true twin, so I would go with the Capita Outsiders. The Super DOA, I think I like the Super DOA more as well, because it's not that full camber. It's got the bit of rocker towards the tips. And I mean, even, yeah, this one too, K2 After Black, I like more. It's less aggressive, more twin, and all those boards you can still like carve really well with them. But yeah, for me, the Mercury is just it's just too aggressive. Adam, which board did you spend 1,500 Australian dollars on? It's a bit different in Australia because you guys kind of get ripped off because for whatever reason, snowboards are so expensive down in Australia. Which resort do you recommend in the French Alps? I haven't been too many places, but I would say Morzine. Morzine is like my favorite mountain. I mean, I've only been to Morzine and Avoriaz in France, and Morzine was one of my favorites of all of Europe. Really awesome mountain, some cool peaks, amazing views. So there's a video, epic snowboarding day in Morzine, France. But yeah, Morzine's definitely my favorite. Lucas saying in Spain, lift tickets are 40 to 50 euros. Yeah, Europe is much cheaper for lift tickets. Like across the board, across like all resorts, everywhere, it's like so much cheaper. Hawks fan says, how many snapitas have you broken? Or I guess capitas. My friend has snapped 3. I've never snapped a capita board. I don't think I've ever snapped a board. So 0 snaps. Yeah, I wonder why your friend is snapping so many capitas. Maybe he would snap any board. Maybe it's like something he's doing. Is he like landing 10 feet to flat on his tail or on his nose or something? Like what is he doing to snap the board? Austin says, what are some tips and tricks to ride steep bowl terrain? I find myself going back seat just a little or losing some fundamentals. Yeah, if you're going back seat and if you're kind of like losing the fundamentals, then what's probably happening is you may be trying to do them too fast. So riding just with too much speed. And on those like steep runs too, it's like there's definitely some alternating going on from front to back. So like when you start the turn, you're a bit more on your front foot. As the turn comes around, you're getting more on the back. So maybe just trying to like feel out that rhythm of like front, back. So slowing yourself down a bit and just like thinking about that as you go through the turn, maybe that can kind of help you. Also with your toe turn, you may be, losing it a bit because you might be getting a bit twisted on your toes. I feel like that's very common. So think when you go to do your toe turn through one of those like steep bowls, keeping your backhand over your tail, and even like using your backhand to initiate that toe turn. So like backhand goes back as your back foot goes back as well. And that can kind of keep your like shoulders more square to your snowboard and giving you like more balance and more balance so that you can so you don't lose it at the back. So yeah, give that a try. Give those few things a try and see if any of them work. Hawks fan says, nope, his libs and ride boards have held up. Just the snapitas have broken. 2 across the nose and 1 the tail. Okay, wow, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, I don't know if that's, we'd have to like do a poll somewhere. What type of board have you snapped? To see, maybe it is a thing. I don't know. I have broken 2 LibTechs. So I've rarely broken a board, but I have broken 2 LibTech boards. So, I mean, from my experience, I haven't broken any Capitas, but I have broken 2 LibTechs. So it's kind of, so I don't know. I don't know if is there a trend there? I'm not sure. All right, let's see some more questions. Just give you guys like a quick update too on like what I've been doing. So I did spend the majority of my season in Northern California, riding all around Lake Tahoe. So like Kirkwood, Heavenly, a lot of park days at North Star, a bunch of good POW days at Palisades. Went to Mount Rose down there, and then so as a Canadian, I can't stay in the U.S. forever, so I'm back up in Canada now. And did a trip to Kimberley, BC, the interior, and then to Whitewater, which is close to Nelson, BC, in the Kootenay Valley. Whitewater is like now one of my absolute favorite resorts. Really steep, fun trees, the most like pillow drops and like little natural kickers I've ever seen in my life. If you want to like get some air into powder, Whitewater is definitely the place to do it. And then did a trip to Mount Baker too, just south of the border, back over into Washington State. And Mount Baker is just, it's always good. And we hit it on an awesome POW day that was actually sunny too. So that's going to be the next video to come out. So watch out for that. We'll be at Mount Baker riding with Chris Ayers. Came along for a few days to ride as well. So that's what's been going on. And yeah, moving forward this spring, gonna probably do some days up in Whistler. So I've got the Epic Pass this year, so I'll probably hit up Whistler a few days, and maybe back down to Baker. And then for late spring into summer, definitely going to be back at Mount Hood at Timberline Resort, collaborating with the High Cascade Snowboard Camp for session 1 and 2. So if you guys want to come hang out for that, there is a link in the description. Hawks fan says, I'd hit Baker more often, but it's a 3-hour drive. Wow, are you in southern? Are you like south of Seattle? Man, if you're ever on the borderline about going to like, I don't know where you ride. Do you ride at Crystal or Stevens Pass, or I don't know where you ride, maybe let me know. But if you're ever on the fence, Baker is always worth it, man. It's so much fun. Adam saying, Kev has the Epic Pass. Winter settling in. Southern Hemisphere is calling. Falls Creek, Kev. Let's go. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, man. I'll see if it's in the budget for this year. Yeah, Australia is awesome. Had such a good time with the Aussie guys, and yeah, I would love to get back down there, ride with them, ride with you. It'd be so much fun. Clues FN says, Kevin, I saw you about 4 years ago with TJ in the Snow Center in England on the freestyle night. Yeah, that was such a fun time at Hemel Hempstead. Yeah, that was super fun. I was like blown away by all the people we got to meet, the setup there at the indoor place. Yeah, that was super fun. That was like the first night of our like 3-week Europe trip, and that was awesome. Yeah, maybe we'll have to get back there at some point. Austin saying, never tried the backhand over The tail tip, yeah, give that a try. I think like in steep runs, sometimes, yeah, all the fundamentals start to like go out the window. So slowing it down a bit and trying some of those things out, I think could really help. Wilderness says, do you think you could go from no rail skills to pretty good rail skills in a single season? Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing with rails is it's just about time. So like I knew this dude in Oregon who I saw working on rails kind of like when we were down there in May, and his progression was like really good. So over, I would say, a 6-month period, he went from just kind of doing some like basic tricks on small features to getting some like pretty difficult rail tricks down on like medium to like larger size rails. So and I think it's just the commitment. I would see him like hiking rail features just always in the park. And so if you like can dedicate that time of like a few times a week, just being at the park, hiking rails or just hitting the rails and really focus in on that, then the tricks will like come. And yeah, it's just about time. So like more and more time is definitely the key. So yeah, give yourself time to be in there, to be doing the rail features, and the progression is definitely going to happen. Even for me last summer, I was like hiking a lot of features at Timberline in the park. And just from like hiking the same feature like 15 or 20 times, you're going to like start to be able to do tricks that you never thought you could do. And it's just from the mileage and putting in the time. Awesome, guys. So I'm going to jump off of the live chat here and head over to the members only area for a live chat. If you guys want to become a member, there's like a bunch of perks over there. Just hit the join button, and it's an awesome way to support the channel. And it's also just like a fun way to hang out and get some cool perks. So yeah, it's going to be a more live chat, and we're going to, I think I want to talk about, and it's a good way too to talk about maybe some more controversial things. So maybe like some resorts that I'm gonna maybe avoid from now on because they've gotten a bit too expensive. So thank you guys for being on here. If you guys haven't yet, subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications. We'll see you here again next Friday. And yeah, if you are interested in some summer snowboarding, check out the link in the description as well. Have a good time out there snowboarding, guys. Thanks for coming on here and chatting. And I'll see you guys next week. Awesome. Later, guys.